Hello, what is up everybody? Classic here. This is me just doing a quick Mesmer build video where it's for mainly World v World and PvP. I've not really tested it out in PvE, but I'm sure a full Berserker's Mesmer or whatever the meta is would be best for that. This is really for PvP and for roaming in World v World. In the past I've not been able to Mesmer very well, but recently with this build it's definitely my new favourite class to PvP with, so I'll just walk us through it. Looking at the skills and traits, it's a 20-20-30-00 build. We'll start with the domination line, that's at the top, we'll look through this. I mean, the minor traits here, illusion of vulnerability, inflict vulnerability when you interrupt a foe, and the dazzling, dazing a foe also applies vulnerability. I mean, they're nice to have if you like to daze, but that's not what this build really focuses on. They're just a little extra in case you feel like dazing your opponents to apply a few more conditions to them. Maybe if you change one of your utilities to that, and it's also a diversion, if you fancy using that every now and then. It's a little daze, I mean, it's not something I personally use, but it's there for you to use if you feel like it. Your adept line, you want to have a quick look at crippling dissipation. I think that's how that's said. Never mind. Clones will cripple nearby enemies when they're killed. I mean, I like this. It's just with this build, you'll be spamming your clones on your staff. I mean, number 2, it's 8-second recharge, phase retreat. I mean, Mesmers have a fantastic ability to throw out a lot of clones at people, and they're going to be applying conditions with this build if they're not dealt with, and when they are dealt with, then they'll just apply more conditions. So really, whether you have any phantasms or illusions out or not, they're going to be dealing damage, and you're going to be a nightmare for your opponents. In the master trait, domination, will be taking cleansing conflagration. Torch skills will now remove conditions, and it will reduce the recharge on torch skills. Sorry, it's nice to have because I wouldn't say the Mesmer, or at least this Mesmer build, is fantastic at removing conditions, which is why I've just taken Arcane Thievery. It's always fun to steal their boons and give them conditions, especially if you're fighting a Guardian with lots of defense and lots of ways to clear conditions. You're just like, oh, I'll take yours, and here, you take these conditions. How'd you like them apples? And, your torch skills, these are always good to have. A nice little recharge on, reduce it to 24 seconds, and, well, both 24 seconds, it seems. Invisibility plays a big part in this build, at least, that's what I find anyway. But to have this remove conditions as well, it's an added bonus, I feel. I suppose next we best look at the dueling line. We'll look at the minor traits first. Critical infusion will gain vigor when delivering a critical hit. That's good. It allows you to dodge more. I mean, Mesmers, I take blink to confuse enemies as well as the invisibility and phase retreat. I can be jumping around opponents and just trying to put them off on my positioning. It gives you an advantage. I mean, you can be targeted as a Mesmer. However, if you were to go invisible, say using decoy, mass invisibility, or the prestige, then they lose the target that they have on you, and they'd have to spot you again in order to find out which Mesmer is actually the one they should be dealing damage to. Sharper images is the other minor trait in dueling. Illusions will inflict bleeding on critical hits, which is nice to have as well. This is about conditions, this build. It's about confusing and shocking and awing your opponents into submission. So yeah, illusions inflict bleeding on critical hits, more conditions on your opponents, more rage quit for them, and extra glory for you. Have a look at the adept in dueling. This is blade training. This will increase your precision while wielding a one-handed sword or spear, and will reduce the recharge on sword and spear skills. I mean, it's nice to have. I mean, some people would prefer to use a scepter to stack confusion, but I'm more of a sword kind of guy. Illusionary leaps, nice to have. Send clone at them. You use this if you want to immobilize your foe and then blur the frenzy right at them. And whilst you use Blurred Frenzy, you're evading all attacks, so it's good to have. I'd certainly switch to that if you were to either finish off an opponent, or if you're about to take, say, 100 blades from a Guardian. Sorry, from a Warrior. Guardians can't do 100 blades. How foolish of me to even suggest that. Okay, where were we up to? The master trait in dueling would be Deceptive Evasion. You create a clone at your current position when you dodge. And I mean, this is more around the Mesmer's ability to confuse the opponents more than anything else, and it will also create more clones, which, when destroyed, will add more conditions to your opponent. So, I mean, it all adds up, and it's probably my favourite point of the build, but I know lots of Mesmer builds themselves will take Deceptive Evasion, because who doesn't love clones of themselves? The Chaos trait line, we'll look at all the minor traits first and then move on to the others. First, we have Metaphysical Rejuvenation, which will gain regeneration when your health drops below the threshold, which is 75%. I mean, it's nice to have. You lose health, get a bit of regeneration. Also, yeah, it's a minor trait. It's nice to have. Illusionary Membrane, gain protection when you gain regeneration. Excellent to have, because if we lose health below 75%, we will gain regeneration, and whenever we gain regeneration, we will also gain protection. Say if we get any other boons, well, whenever we receive regeneration, say from stealing it, or if there's anything else, any other ways to get regeneration for ourselves, then we'll gain protection at the same time, which is nice, because it reduces incoming damage by 33%. Chaotic Transference will gain condition damage based on your toughness. It's nice to have if you have a decent amount of toughness. Just an extra bit of condition damage is there. I mean, Chaos Line, we get an increased toughness by 300%, which will also just improve our condition damage overall. Adept Chaos, Debilitating Dissipation. It's a fantastic name. Clones apply a random condition to nearby foes when they're killed. This goes hand in hand with Crippling Dissipation. Clones cripple nearby enemies when they're killed. Crippling will only slow them down, but I mean, the more the conditions, the merrier. They say if it's a warrior using Shake It Off, they might be removing Cripple instead of, say, the Bleeds, which would actually cause them bodily harm. So it's a favourite of mine, and yeah, it can do a lot of damage with you increase your condition damage. Master Chaos. Chaotic Dampering. Increased toughness while wielding a staff or trident and will reduce the recharge on staff and trident. Trident, that's just an added extra. I don't do underwater combat. I'm not very good at it. I don't particularly enjoy it. But staff is perfect for this build. You have your Chaos Storm and Phase Retreat, which is also handy to have, and then just Winds of Chaos. Look at all those conditions, and you even give yourself Fury and Might, just occasionally. So what's not to love about constantly spamming clones from staff? And this will, reduce the recharge on all of them. Say Chaos Storm, which does a lot of the damage from the staff. It's probably the best move it has, in my opinion. It's reduced it to 28 seconds cooldown, so it's certainly a nice little bonus to have that chaotic dampering. Let's see, and the last one, Grandmaster Chaos. You want to be taking Prismatic Understanding. Now, this is a build because of this. I'm not sure if this is the main Prismatic Understanding build. I've not really looked into it too much. But I'm aware on the forums and the guild that Prismatic Understanding is hated by anybody who has to face a Mesmer, because cloaking skills last longer and you gain a random boon when you're cloaked. So you can either get Aegis, Protection, or Regeneration. Now, we have Mass Invisibility, and this will give us 6 seconds of stealth, and whilst we're in those 6 seconds of stealth, we will be gaining these boons. We also have the Prestige, which will give us 4 seconds of stealth. That's a nice 10 seconds of stealth there. Which times for the Prestige skill on your torch will remove a condition, because of one of the traits we looked at earlier, and now it will also give us all these extra boons. Each time, remember, we get regeneration, we will also be gaining protection, so when we're in stealth, it's giving us Aegis, protection, regeneration. It's everything to help you stay alive in those difficult situations. Now, one thing I should add is the revealed boon buff. It's not a boon, it's more of a condition where if you deal damage whilst in stealth, you can no longer go into stealth. There's a way Mesmers can get around this quite easily. You have to use decoy. Now, decoy will give you an extra 4 seconds of stealth, but you can use decoy even if you have the little revealed, say, condition, we'll call it. If you have the revealed condition, so never start with decoy. If you say use mass invisibility or the prestige and you attack someone and you become revealed, if you desperately need to get into stealth again, but you say have those 3 seconds where it won't let you, you just have to pop decoy, and it'll all be okay because it will let you back into stealth even if you have the revealed condition on you, which ArenaNet will maybe fix if they're made aware of it. But I hope they don't, because it certainly helps out my playstyle an awful lot. I'll give a quick demonstration shortly, but first I suppose we best look at the armor. It's your standard armor. You can't really choose much in PvP, but for World v World I'd suggest maybe vitality, toughness and condition damage, just because I like staying alive. But for here, the sigils I would definitely choose as the superior rune of the undead, because we get extra condition damage and extra toughness. If you remember, it was somewhere around here. Increased, nope, my bad. There we go. Gain condition damage based on your toughness. We're getting extra condition damage, and toughness from these runes, but for extra little bit of toughness we get an extra little bit of condition damage, which goes hand in hand with each other, and it's a quite nice bonus to have. And by no means this build perfect, or would I say it's the best out there, but it's what I enjoy playing, and it's certainly reasonably effective. For weapons, staff, which is, I feel, the main part of this build, you want to be spamming all of your phantasms and clones as much as possible. I just put a superior sigil of air on because, heck, who doesn't like a lightning strike on a 30% chance critical? It's just nice to have. I mean, it doesn't happen very often because your auto to attack, unfortunately, is quite slow. I'd say it's almost as slow as Necromancer auto attack on staff and Guardian auto attack on Scepter. It's slow, but I mean, we have nice conditions and boons off it, so I'm not really going to complain too much. It's certainly in a better state than the poor Necromancer auto attack. Next, we'll just be looking at standard sword, because the build, we get our recharges quicker on sword and torch. So sword, just a superior sigil of force, and then torch, we just have a superior sigil of accuracy, because they won't stack. You can't have 2 forces and you can't have 2 accuracies, but I assume everybody knows this by now, but if you don't, now you do. You learn something new every day. Underwater things don't matter. These are just how it were when I made this character. Force and force, you see? That's okay. Not too bothered about that. For your trinket, I chose PvP carrying amulets. I like the extra vitality. It just gives me a bit more survivability, I feel. You can, however, choose whichever you feel like. It's up to you. It's personal preference, really. I mean, the whole game's personal preference. But if I were you, which I'm not, I'm me, carrying amulet is the one I'd go for, because we have a nice little extra bit of power, plenty of condition damage, and the vitality, I feel, just, it adds it all together. Without it, it's sitting at about maybe 16,000 health, which I don't feel is enough. But then again, my main is a warrior and I have 30,000 health, so there's always that. But 21,522, it seems like it's not an even number, so that frustrates me. But it's certainly better than, say, without it, 15,000. So yes, you're sacrificing maybe some damage, but you're getting 6,000 health. So it's a bonus. So there we go. And that's the Mesmer build. I think that's everything I wanted to go over. I'm sorry if I've left anything out. I'll check, but that's it. 2020-30-00. I enjoy it. It's good. You focus on conditions and remaining invisible and just confusing your foes. It's not really good at bunkering because you'll be blinking and phase retreating out of the defensive zones in invisibility. If you're invisible, then of course you can't capture the point. It's not good at bunkering. What it is good at is causing chaos. And that's what the Mesmer's all about, really. I mean, thank you very much for watching. I suppose that's it for this time. Toodaloo.